Hello everyone, this is Carlos and today I'm going to be talking about how you should use the peak force number on the software to get faster on the water, to gain speed. Here we have three power curves, three examples. First thing important you need to remember, the vertical axis is force in newtons. So when we're talking about peak force, we're talking about the highest point of the power curve on the vertical axis. So in this first curve, you see that the highest point is not as high as on the second and the third one, and is 350 newtons. The second one is 510 newtons highest. You can see the difference of shape. And the last one is 650 newtons. So you could see an increase of peak force over the three power curves here. Now that you know what the peak force is, I'm going to quickly give you an idea of what is the role of the peak force into the whole power curve. So here we have a power curve, and then vertical axis force in newtons will be the highest point, is the peak force, and then the horizontal is the stroke length and is in centimeters, and then the area inside of the curve is the work we do, will be the joules per stroke, the energy per stroke. So normally to have a big thick power curve, you need to have a good peak force, and then you need to have a good length of stroke. When we are rowing on the water, we know, and this is studies that have been done, that the part that the boat or the blade goes through the water, the part of the stroke when the blade is in the water, that is going to give you the most speed, the more efficient push to get result on the boat, is the first part where the blade gets into the water and the first action. Actually, that will be of the power curve, the catch when the curve starts, and then hope smooth and quickly builds. So you want to have a smooth build of power application and a big peak force. And that's what we're going to be talking today. I'm going to be taking some strokes, and then you're going to see here on the screen the shape of the power curve, and this big number over here is going to be in newtons the peak force. So you're going to see different shapes and different peak forces. In order to build a good peak force, you'll need to be engaged well, you'll need to be with good posture, and you'll need to be direct, and you'll need to be connected. As soon as you connect and you push into the handle and foot stretcher, you'll need to be able to be coordinated and powerful, that force builds high. Having a high peak force is going to be directly related to going fast, to having a fast split on the boat or on the ergometer. So what are the two reasons why it's important to have a high peak force? I can say that one is, if you want to have a good stroke, you need to have a big area inside of the power curve. That's the energy per stroke, the joules per stroke, the work of that power curve, the work of that stroke. That's going to be determined by how long you row and how high you peak, and then covering all that area between these two, the two extremities of the length and the peak force, making it thick. So you want to peak high. Second reason I can list quickly why it's important to have a high peak force is because there is some of the boats, the events, you're going to run on the water that are really quick events where it's very important to have a very quick and high achievement of peak force. So the first part of the blade is going so quick through the water that you want to be sure you don't miss it and you can build a lot of force in the first part of the stroke. What is great about this software is that of all the cells we have, or all the numbers we can see, specifically one is talking about the peak force in Newton. So we individualize that cell, we look at this number, and it's just telling us when our peak force is lower or higher depending of that number. That's great because we can be rowing, and then the coach can tell us, okay, today I want you to learn to have a curve with a higher force, a higher peak. So you look at the shape of the curve, but you just focus your attention on that number. And as this number grows, obviously your curve will have a higher peak force. This is Ben Carlos. Thank you for watching.